Vladimir Putin is reportedly considering handing Edward Snowden over to the US in an effort to curry favor with Donald Trump, who has branded the NSA leaker a traitor and called for his execution. US intelligence has intercepted evidence of high-level discussions within the Russian government over the potential benefits for Moscow of sending Mr. Snowden back to the US to face trial, according to NBC News. American spies have also reportedly confirmed parts of an explosive dossier about Mr. Trump compiled by a former MI6 agent. The idea that Mr. Putin might use Mr. Snowden as a bargaining chip has been circulating since Mr. Trump's surprise election victory in November. Some advisors around Mr. Putin believe that giving Mr. Snowden as a gift to the US would improve the Kremlin's standing with the new president and help Russia achieve its foreign policy goals. Mr. Snowden said the report was proof that he was not a Russian spy, a common accusation leveled at him since he sought refuge in Moscow in 2013 after leaking thousands of classified US and British files. Finally, irrefutable evidence that I never cooperated with Russian intel. No country trades away spies, as the rest would fear their next, he wrote on Twitter. Mr. Trump has made no secret of his animosity towards the former NSA contractor. Snowden is a spy who has caused great damage to the US. A spy in the old days, when our country was respected and strong, would be executed, he said in 2014. If Mr. Snowden was brought before a US court, his lawyers would doubtless use Mr. Trump's words to argue that it was impossible for him to receive a fair trial. Michael Morell, the former deputy head of the CIA and a supporter of Hillary Clinton, wrote in January that Mr. Snowden would be the perfect inauguration gift from the Russia leader to the new US president. This would give President Putin one of the things he desires the most, being seen at home and abroad as an equal of the US, Mr. Morell said. He suggested that Mr. Trump would relish being seen as the one who brought Mr. Snowden home, something that Barack Obama was never able to do, and that capturing Mr. Snowden would go far in healing the wounds between the president and America's spies. It was not clear from the intercepted intelligence how close Mr. Putin was to making a decision nor which way he was leaning on the choice. Mr. Snowden is technically a guest of the Russian government, and in January a spokeswoman for the Russian Foreign Ministry said he would be allowed to stay for a couple more years. He first arrived in Russia in June 2013 after fleeing from Hong Kong. Russia does not have an extradition treaty with the US, so it is not clear what mechanism would be used to hand Mr. Snowden over, though the two countries have exchanged prisoners and spies in the past. I am confident that President Putin is creative enough to find a way within his own legal system to deport Snowden, said Mr. Morell. In fact, I'm certain of it. Maria Zakharova, a spokeswoman for the Russian Foreign Ministry, put out a cryptic statement in response to the report, saying that Russia was still formulating its policy towards the US and that Mr. Trump's efforts were being hampered by domestic political opponents. It is evident that the pressure on the new administration on the part of political opponents within the United States continues, she said. Meanwhile, CNN reported that US intelligence had corroborated parts of a 35-page dossier that former MI6 spy Christopher Steele had created on Mr. Trump's background. None of the confirmed information relates to salacious allegations about prostitutes that were contained in the dossier, CNN said, and were focused instead on claims about conversations between Russian citizens which the US now believes to be accurate. Sean Spicer, the White House press secretary, said in response, "We continue to be disgusted by CNN's fake news reporting.